Hello, welcome to the Growth Show. It's your host, Whitney Bateson, and today is just a solo episode, you and me. It is Monday. This is going to be going live next Monday, so I'm recording this on a Monday. If you follow me on Instagram, so a little personal update before we get into the actual podcast content. So if you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw that we had another monkey intrusion over the weekend. And so Dylan and I were sitting out on the deck and it was a beautiful day. So it's spring going into summer here in Brazil. So we're in Florianopolis, which is an island south of Sao Paulo in Brazil. So it's flipped in the southern hemisphere. They're just coming out of their winter and it's finally warming up. So I had the doors and the windows open and I had been hearing the monkey squeals a little bit because the little marmosets that come around have these really high pitched squeals. And so I had been hearing them, but I hadn't really I hadn't seen any around. So I was like, okay, we're fine. I wasn't really thinking about it. And I look over and there is a little monkey, not like literally rope climbing up one of the curtains to get to the bananas that were hanging on a rack near the ceiling. And I just look over and that monkey is climbing up the curtains like MacGyver. And I just say to Dylan, I'm like, oh my God, there's another monkey in the house. There's a monkey in the house. And so, yeah, and then that's when I started recording. So it was in my stories. If you saw it, maybe we'll put it in the email that we send out with this podcast episode. But yeah, luckily Dylan scared the monkey. The monkey ran towards Dylan as opposed to running out the open door. But luckily we also had an open window because I loved to keep all of the windows and doors open. So he scampered out, but we closed the door and then they still were coming back and trying to open the door. Like once they get a scent of some bananas and some fruit, that's what they want. So anyway, we'll keep you posted. The intent is not to have monkeys coming into the house because they can really do a lot of damage, make a lot of mess, but it really makes for great, interesting Instagram content as well. So anyway, that's my weekend story and update and animal encounter. And so I'm recording this a few weeks after our launch wrapped up. So we just finished our fall launch of the Wellness Pro website system, and we welcomed 7 amazing entrepreneurs and business owners into the group. And we have a great mix of some mindset coaches. We have dietitians. I think we may have some therapy as well, some therapists. So it's a great mix. I've been really wanting to broaden the net of, obviously, I love dietitians. I am a dietitian, but I know that there are other practitioners in the same space of helping people with their health, their mental health, physical health, nutritional health. There are other people that would benefit from the work that we do. So I'm excited to start having those kinds of people find us and coming into the program. So this episode is just doing a debrief while the thoughts and feelings are still fresh from my launch. And I want to explain a little bit what launching means to us in the business. This isn't intended to be any kind of like educational podcast on launching. However, if you do want me to ever go into more detail about what launching is and the different components of it and all of that, I'm happy to. It's been a journey for me. I've been launching, I think 3 or 4 years now. So I've gone through quite a few launches. They're always a roller coaster. No 2 launches are the same. You can try and predict what a launch is going to be like. And I'm a very data-driven person. I love looking at the numbers. I like forecasting. Okay, we had this percentage. And you do need to have those numbers. Any business does rely on forecasts, but also many businesses will forecast something and then it doesn't happen. And that's just the nature of it. But I think there are some things that I think going into this launch, because it didn't hit the goals that I had for it. And there were some things where we didn't grow our list in between the launches as much. And so typically our email list is like the crux of, let me get into what launching means for us. And I have notes and I want to stick to them so that I don't go in a lot of different directions and go off on tangents and make this really long. So how we typically launch is it's centered around a live event. So for us, it's like a webinar, it's our masterclass. We promote that event for a few weeks through email, through social media, through our affiliate partners, and through ads. And so I would say, so when I mention like the list building between launches, we are attracting new people into our audience every month with usually lead magnets, or I have a free training funnel that I've finally set up after like a year of wanting to set it up. It's not perfect. We're working on that as well. But having new people come into my world, learn about me, learn about what I offer, get some value, get some ahas, start moving forward towards what they ultimately want. And then when we have a launch, those people are on my email list. And so I am inviting them to the live event that I'm hosting for the launch. And so they can come and attend that. So that's not necessarily new people to the audience. Those are people who are on my list in my audience. Maybe they've attended a launch before, or maybe they joined in between launches and have never been to a launch. So there's some of that, but you want to still be building that list between launches. And then there's also new people who are just coming in for the first time for this launch. And that's, I would say, not mainly through ads. Our breakdowns are, I don't know that it's 50% ads, but we do get a fair bit from ads. Affiliates, and this, I've had affiliates. I love the people who promote my program, but we've had mixed results. Everyone's busy. And so expecting an affiliate partner to send a bunch of emails to their email list for my launch, I know is a big ask. And that's just not something that a lot of people are willing or able to do. And so they may end up sending only one email or two emails. And unfortunately, that's just not really enough to move the needle and get many people to sign up for my training or to enroll in the program. So over the years, I've found that affiliates for us just haven't been working as well. And I think there's a lot of relation to referrals too. If you're relying on referrals and you're not building up your own way of getting traffic and getting new people to find out about you, and you're just relying on other people's audiences, that can still be wonderful. I've had some launches where half of my sales came from affiliates. So if I had not been working with affiliates and nurturing those relationships, my launch would have been half as good as it was. So they have definitely bolstered some of my launches in the past, but as they have decreased in effectiveness, I've had to pick up the slack and I've had to build up my systems. And so that, I feel, for many business owners and practitioners who are relying on referrals, and you have some really great referral sources, those are great until they're not. And so it's always important to be diversifying your own visibility systems and traffic systems so that you're just preparing yourself for when those times when, maybe that doctor's office is having a slow month themselves. And I've talked about this, and they're just not getting as many patients and clients coming in, or there's a new practitioner that has also reached out to them. And so they're sending some people that way. So you never know what's happening in your referral partner's life and business. And so it's always good to prepare yourself. So anyway, so we invite people in, and then people come to the event. We have maybe the best is like usually 30 to 35% attendance on the people that have registered, but then we do really push the replay and try and get people to watch the replay and all of that. And then after that event, we open the door, and everyone who signed up for the event is on our email list, along with all the other people on our email list. Even people who were invited to the masterclass but didn't end up signing up, they're still going to be told about the event, about the cart open and all of that. And I send out a lot of emails. If you're on my email list, that I send out a lot of emails. I sent more emails this time than I have ever in the past. And I'm going to talk about that and what I learned from that. And if I'm going to continue doing that, why I did it, spoiler alert, why I defend my decision and feel it was still the right decision. I know that can be a challenge for a lot of practitioners, worrying that you're going to annoy people with too many emails. I think there is a balance and a time and a place for sending emails to folks. But basically so the launch is just this consolidated short period of time where you have this event, you have this urgency, you're building excitement, you're doing like a big education of your audience of what it is that you offer, really getting them to understand what it is that they need and the gaps in what they're doing right now and how your product can solve those specific problems and get them moving forward and giving them some urgency and scarcity around, okay, now is the time. Because honestly, for all of us, we can put off making a buying decision forever, whether it's a personal buying decision or a business related one. All of us have been in that boat where we're like, I'm just going to wait a little bit longer because spending our money, unless it's something that we really want and it's more of, hey, I want to buy that purse or I want to buy that thing. But even then, if there's a sale going on or there's some kind of little urgency, you are much more likely to make that decision than if there was absolutely no barrier, no timeline, no nothing. And it's just, yeah, just buy it whenever you want. We have a million things going on in our lives. I'm going to prioritize the other things that are calling for my attention, that are needing me to take action. And I'm going to put off making that decision, even if it's a decision that will ultimately benefit me. So that's the purpose of a launch. And honestly, launches generally are used mainly for courses and high ticket programs, but they can be used for any kind of package or service. And you can have a launch that's really complicated, or it can just be simple, because at the end of the day, all it is this like timing and messaging and an urgency in a finite period of time. And so it can work for one-to-one service packages. Like you can open spots for a new quarter or a new year and have a little kind of push to do that. You can, of course, do launches of a group program or a membership. You can do workshops or short-term intensives that you do a little launch for, and of course, courses or digital offers. And so you're just building this excitement and you're focusing everyone's attention on this one thing for this short period of time, and you are creating some urgency. So I think it is a really great method for every business owner to utilize, especially if you are in the B2C space, I would say. Although even if you're in B2B and you are serving other businesses, then I think there could be a type of service that could work for this. I would say if you're doing consulting and consulting contracts, maybe not so much. But even I've worked with a copywriter, and she has been sending some emails and offering her copywriting services and doing some kind of flash sale about it. So if you're a writer, even if you're a health writer, you could be sending out an email to your list and saying, I have 3 spots this coming quarter for these projects. And if you book them by this date, you also get this bonus thing. It doesn't always have to be. That's the other thing too, is that usually the offer and the product that you're launching at that time has some additional reason for people to buy now, obviously. If they could buy that same thing at that same price later down the line, then it's maybe not so much of a compelling reason for them to buy right now. So maybe you throw in something like an extra call or an extra resource. It doesn't always have to be trading your one-on-one time. So remember that you can make this launch of this product be whatever you think is going to be valuable for people, but then also reasonable for you to actually deliver on as well. You could offer a coupon, you could offer some discount, but I don't think that that is a requirement. And I don't think you should look at that as the first thing that you do. I think adding value rather than taking away value is a better first step to try. And I think in terms of like launching and the downsides of it, there are some. It can be really emotionally and emotionally draining and energy sapping. It is a roller coaster of just managing your energy throughout. You have the cart open, or you're preparing for it, you're preparing for the event, and you're getting people enrolled. And first it's, oh, okay, we're getting some signups. And then it's, oh no, are we going to get enough signups? And then, oh, we have a lot of signups. And then, oh no, we don't have as many as we want. Over time, what we've done is we started tracking what our typical enrollment like cadence is for events, so that I don't need to freak out on day one when we have 60 people signed up. I can look back at the past and be like, okay, that's normal. Like that's on par. So I think those kinds of things, when you start having some tracking and benchmarking, can be really helpful. Again, it doesn't predict what's going to happen this time, but it also allows you to know when you need to pivot, when you need to maybe throw in a little bit more ad spend or try some other tactics or do another post or do another email or look at the emails that you've been sending and how are they performing and how can I make the final ones perform better. So it is good to be like having those little numbers that you're looking at as you're going. And I think even this is probably true for any business, even if you're not launching, just like what are those benchmarks that you can be looking at every month to see, okay, am I on track for what I am looking for? Even if it's just, okay, this is how much traffic typically comes to my website. And this is how many discovery calls get booked from that traffic. Like just simple, what's the conversion rate off of my website? Or you could look at tracking one specific page and seeing what the conversion rate is on that page. And if I get 100 people to my book a call page, I know that 10 of them are going to actually convert. And so therefore, if I want to be having more than 10 discovery calls a month, then I need to be really figuring out how to get more traffic to my website in general. And of course, to my book a call page. You're probably not going to promote your book a call page like as much. You might promote your services page, or you might be sending more emails to your list and sending them to your services page and all of that. But that book a call page is like one conversion point for sure to get that gauge of like, how are you doing? Yeah, a launch can be just a lot of ups and downs throughout so much of the process. And then what can be challenging is that you, depending on what you're doing in that launch, like if you're available for sales calls or if you're doing any other live engagement events or you're doing any outreach, you need to keep your energy up, your morale up and all of that, even when things are maybe not panning out the way you wanted. And there's a lot of self-doubt and frustration and concern that did I do things the right way? What's happening? Why is this not working? We are our own worst critics for sure. So it can be challenging as well. It's not perfect. I don't think any sales strategy is perfect. They all have pluses and minuses. It just depends on what is going to work for the style of selling that you want to do and what ultimately feels a little bit better or a little bit easier and that matches the kind of product that you're offering and what's going to be like the right sales style for that. So I'm not saying everyone needs to start launching. I do think small little promotions can be really helpful in any business though. And it doesn't mean that you need to make it a big energy intensive launch event for sure. Let's see. Now, I think I pretty much covered most of what I wanted to talk about with the launch. The final thing that I'll say before I talk now about like my lessons and what I'm doing moving forward, coming out of this launch and going into the rest of 2025 and then into 2026. But just to reiterate, in our launch, we have all these follow-up emails that come after the launch event. After the webinar, our car open is usually 7 to 8 days. I think we made it 8 days for the first time, and that includes weekends. And then we're sending emails every day, multiple times a day, to keep the conversation going from the people that came onto the webinar or anyone who didn't come to the webinar. How are we explaining what it is that we're offering? How am I explaining that? How am I helping people who are interested, who are like, yeah, I definitely need a website. This sounds good, but what about X? So it's my job to help people who are trying to decide if my program is the right thing for them, to help them move past those doubts and get the answers that they need. And that's just normal. Everyone is going to have questions, is going to be wondering a few things before making a big decision. So those emails are that way to help people process through that. Otherwise, I'm just leaving them up to their own devices. If you think about it, okay, I have this webinar. Some people show up or they watch the replay. And if I were to just say, okay, doors are open for WPWS. If you want to join, go to the sales page, look at it. and let me know in a couple days if you're interested. The sales page, if you've been to my sales page, it is long, it is detailed. It does cover a lot of the potential questions and concerns and thoughts that people might be having. But we all process information differently, and not everything on that sales page is necessarily going to resonate the same way with everyone. And not everyone's going to go to that sales page. They're going to be distracted. They're going to have other things pulling at their attention. So if I were to just send them that sales page once and then maybe send them one reminder and then say, okay, doors are closing today or whatever, there's a very unlikely chance that the people who, because of course there are some people that are like, they're ready to go. They know they want to buy, but those are people that probably have already been on my email list and have known about my program for quite a while. So there's those people that are ready to go. But for everyone else, they did not have enough time to fully process through all of those thoughts and concerns and just limiting beliefs or objections or whatever you want to call it. They didn't have enough time and enough information to actually really go through it. Even though the cart and the doors were open for a couple of days, they weren't thinking about it that whole time, probably, especially if I wasn't reminding them and emailing them. So I think just keep that in mind, because one of the things I'll mention is that I'm really going to be focusing a lot more on email marketing moving forward, because I really do believe, especially I know so many of you listening, you don't like social media. And that's fine. But you need another way to get people to hear from you and process through these things that they're thinking about, and they need to have new understandings of the problems that they're dealing with and all of that. And if you are not giving them that opportunity to process through those things, then they are just never going to come to that realization that it's time to work with you and feel like confident about that decision. And so email is just such an awesome way to do it. And I personally think that more of us need to be focusing on it as practitioners and utilizing it. The thing is just that, yeah, there's a lot of like resistance about how often to email people. And so I just really want you to shift your mindset that you're being of service. You are helping people when you are emailing them things that are going to help them move forward and solve the problem. Like, they got on your email list because they have a problem and they want to get it solved, and they thought maybe you could solve it for them in some way. So let's show them that you can help them. Let's get to it. Let's now talk about what my lessons are from the launch. And I'm going to break it down into the tactical marketing lessons, some of the things I'm just going to reiterate, and then the broader personal lessons that I have taken away from this launch, because this launch has been more transformational than many of my launches to date. I think the most transformational in a positive way. I have had launches in the past where they didn't go as well, and it kind of like kicked me in the butt and got me moving and making some changes. But I think this one is the most like energetic, like pushing me forward. Let's go. And it was really surprising, especially when the launch didn't perform as well as I wanted it to, but yet I am the most grateful for this launch, I would say. And I think a lot of that has to do with even just the thought work that I was doing within the launch. But anyway, I'll get to that. Okay. So first off, marketing lessons, tactical lessons from the launch. Like I already said, no two launches are the same. No two sales seasons are the same. I think we can definitely look back at things like we are going into the holidays right now. It can be a slow season for a lot of people. So don't beat yourself up about it. Just look back at what things were like last year and be like, okay, let's be prepared. Using data and using prior launch information, prior sales season information can be helpful, but also know that no two launches, no two seasons are the same. And each one is going to teach you something new. And I think that's the best we can do as well when we are in these situations, and it can be tough in the moment if a sales season is not going well for you, it can be tough to take ourselves out of it and say, what is this telling me? What could I be potentially finding from what's going on to help me change either in the moment, which is like what we do in our launch. We're looking at the email stats and we're seeing, are there things that we can be improving in the moment to make these emails open better, have better click-through rates, all of that. Or at the end of each launch, we also debrief. We debrief all the data, we pull all the data together. And then we also write down just some of our takeaways of what felt good, what should we keep doing, what should we expand on, what should we stop doing. And so I think reflecting during and then reflecting after is all you can do. You can just learn. The data allows you to learn, and you can feel bad for a little bit, but then surround yourself with people who are going to help you move forward and just learn and all of that, because you do have to move forward, even if your goals were not met. And another thing that I have here that I've already mentioned is people need reminders. So don't be afraid to repeat yourself. Don't be afraid to remind people that doors are closing today. Doors are closing tonight. Doors are closing in a few hours. Not everyone's reading every email and not everyone is paying attention. So it's okay to be sending these reminders. You have to feel what's right for you. Maybe don't go from no emails to 20 emails, but definitely move yourself up there. Some of it's going to be uncomfortable. I have little reminders that come up on my screen throughout the months, and one of them is just discomfort is just being outside of your comfort zone. Things like pushing yourself to send more emails are going to feel uncomfortable because it's just not your comfort zone. But we need our comfort zones to expand. So we need to do things that are uncomfortable and that feel weird. And I'm telling you right now that you sending extra emails to your email list is not a bad thing. You should not feel guilty about it. You are not doing anything wrong or shady. You are reminding people of something that could change their lives. And you are being of service by helping them with that. Now, if you're just like literally sending the same email 5 times, then yeah, that's maybe not so helpful. We want to give people different information because there might be someone who's reading every single email that you're sending and they're getting something new and different and a shift in their thinking every single email. And that's going to help them move forward. So it is important to have the emails be different, but we don't want to feel like, oh, I don't want to bother people or I don't want unsubscribes. That's another thing. It's my job to help the right people feel confident about my program. If I were worried about all the people that are leaving my list because they didn't want my offering, it's not the right fit for them, then the people who are really wanting to figure out if, hey, is this program going to be what I need? And I really want a website and I really am excited about this program, but I want to make sure that this is covered, or is this going to really be working for me? Or I'm still really not sure about this. I'm thinking about this. Then my emails are helping them with that. But if I were to not send them, then they would never get those realizations. And it's really hurting them in the meantime. So it's fine if people are leaving. Occasionally you get a person saying, you sent me too many emails. That's fine. They're just not the right person, because the right people are happy that I'm sending the emails. They're opening the emails. They are engaging with the emails. They are using them to make their decision. So the people who are telling me you sent too many emails, those emails weren't for you then. And it's fine. It's totally fine. There's plenty of people out there. And one thing that was really great, this launch was great, but also very difficult. So I'm in a mastermind with Claire Pelletreau. She is an Facebook ads expert, also just marketing expert in general. Her podcast is great, Get Paid Marketing, and her mastermind is called Get Paid Marketing. So I'm in that right now with her. And one of the things that has been hugely beneficial is each week we can submit content for critique, for copywriting, messaging, tone, critique. And I will say that that has just helped me so much. And it helped me really find my voice and just having an outsider's perspective on what I was writing and what I was sharing about my offer. And people, the the copywriter is saying, but what you're really doing is this, or how are you speaking to the outcome more? Or is this really what your customers are saying? Or are they saying more like this? And how can you be more specific? So I learned so much from the critiques that I've gotten over the past few months from Claire and her team. And that led me to want to rewrite every single email of my whole sequence. And if you were on my email list, you did see how many emails we sent. So I don't have the exact number, but I don't know if we did 20 for the masterclass promotion. I think it may have been more like 15, and some of them were like podcast episode emails and whatnot. So about 15 probably for promoting the webinar. And then I know that it was about a little over 20 in the sales sequence. And so that's, hey, the doors are open, here's the replay, and then just emails every day, multiple emails every day, talking about some angle that someone might be thinking, also talking about the program and what's included and dispelling any concerns, answering FAQs, talking about the bonuses that we were offering. So we had a lot to cover and a lot to say, and I wanted to make sure that people heard everything. Rewriting all of them was a huge labor-intensive project. I was literally just writing for hours every day, and I was working with ChatGPT to help me process through things, but I was really heavily going back and forth between the critiques that I had gotten, what I wanted my strategy and my framework of emails to be, because that was the big thing of, okay, what are the questions that people are asking? What are the things that I should be answering? In what order? And how should I position this email? How can I make this an engaging email? And all of that. And then ChatGPT was really just helping me refine the email. So my process was generally sometimes getting a little bit of input from ChatGPT on working out like what are the objections or what are the focuses of the emails. But I didn't always really go with what it said because I just didn't feel like it was really accurate or specific enough to like, I know what my customers need. ChatGPT doesn't quite know that. But where it was helpful is I would just talk into ChatGPT and have it transcribe, okay, I think I really want to cover this in this email and I want to open with this and I really want to make sure that I get this point across. And I think people really are struggling with this and they really need to be thinking about this and blah, blah, blah. And so I would like just blurt out something. And then I had worked with ChatGPT to develop like a few frameworks of what the emails should follow. And I'm going to share the main framework that I found. This is not my own framework, but it's just what I found makes the most sense and can be applied to so many different kinds of emails and whatnot. And so I would generally give it all that information. And I say, please organize this into an email that uses this framework. And I would be like, please do not change my language. Like, don't try and polish it. I want my words. It's okay if it's not concise. I want it to be specific. It would still ignore me sometimes. And so that's why it's like a very iterative process with ChatGPT. I definitely do not recommend just asking ChatGPT to write you a 7 email sequence because it's just not going to be very good. It may sound really good because it's designed to create polished content. Like it's still going to sound good, but it's not actually going to create any kind of emotional connection with your customers because they really need to be hearing like specific things and only you are really the one to come up with that information. So use it as a copy editor. Don't use it as a full on like original thought creator. And even as a copy editor, I think you have to be really careful with it. So anyway, I used ChatGPT to help with those emails. I was writing multiple emails a day for multiple hours. I was also working on weekends, which I typically don't do. I think I work hard enough on the week during weekdays. I want my weekends for myself, but we got them done. And Priscilla on my team was amazing and very understanding because it was her job to then schedule all of them. And sometimes we were like, literally, I was finishing writing it in the Google Doc and telling her like, okay, it's good to go. And she was putting it and adding all the links and all of that and formatting it in Kit and getting it sent out. So it was a team effort. It was a lot. It was long. But the process, so this is what I want to share next. First, let me tell you the framework that I came up with that, again, it's more that like I just discovered, and I think this is helpful for anyone. It applies both to emails and I think also like sales pages as well, or any, like even your homepage. So it's 4 parts. And the first is calling out the problem that they're experiencing. So this is for your customer. You just want to describe what it is that they're experiencing. So you're like agitating a little bit. Okay, I'm literally just saying exactly how you're feeling, what you are dealing with. I am just using the words. I am not translating in any way. I'm just saying you are dealing with this. You are frustrated with this. You are feeling this, like you are doing this. So you're just saying exactly what it is that they're experiencing. Then you're going to transition into saying what they're doing wrong and like why that is a problem. Like why all the problems that they're experiencing are a problem. It's because you are missing X, or it's because traditional medicine focuses on X, or because you don't actually know this yet, or whatever. So you're just like diagnosing the problem, like you're calling out what the problem is, saying, I know exactly what your problem is. And this is where you have to be really specific. Think about if you go to the doctor and you tell them one symptom and then they give you a diagnosis, are you going to believe that that diagnosis was accurate? No. You want to give the full picture, and you want to make sure that, okay, you have a clear picture of all the symptoms and all the problems that I'm having. And then when you give me a diagnosis, I'm going to feel a lot more confident that that's an accurate diagnosis. So you're saying what it is the problem is that they have, and then you're diagnosing it. And then you're saying what they need to do instead of what they're doing now. And basically what they need to be doing, because why they're having that problem, the diagnosis of that problem, this is what you need to be doing to get over that problem. And then you lead into how you can help them with what you're telling them they need to do instead. And so I think that this can be really helpful to go very granular on lots of different things. So because there's many problems that your customers are facing. It's not just like the broader, like uncontrolled diabetes. There's little micro problems, micro symptoms. So you can go and pick each of those and diagnose each of those and talk about how you can help with that specific problem. So every email, and so this is not just in a launch or a sales sequence. As you're emailing your list, this is what you can be doing. This is you don't always need to be making it like a hard sell at the end either. This could literally just be talking about this little micro problem that they have and why they're probably experiencing it and what they actually need to be doing. And then instead of you offering your services, you could say, here's a blog article that I wrote about it. Here's a new resource that I made. Here's a talk that I gave about this. Here's a video that I made. Here's a reel that I made. So it doesn't always have to be leading to a sales event. It could, and it should every so often. But that's just like infinite content that you can be sending out to your list, and you are helping them understand a specific problem. Like that's valuable content. So going back to, am I annoying people with my emails? If you were to help your email subscribers understand why they're having challenges with all these different things and feel like they're actually getting seen and someone is putting a name on the problem that they're experiencing and helping them understand it, that's gold. That is so valuable, and not enough people are doing that. And because you can't use ChatGPT to come up with those specific things. Only you can come up with that. Again, you can use chat to make the email sound a little bit better, help you write it, but someone is not going to be able to just have the like laser focus on this specific problem that your customers are facing. And so that content is going to stand out as being so much more valuable. The emails do not need to be long. This is why you only want to focus on one specific issue or pain point or confusion point, whatever it is. Just focus on that one in that email. And then another email, you're going to focus on a different one. Keep them short, scannable, all that good stuff. I could go on. We'll talk about email in the future, but yeah, so that's the messaging framework. But what So now I want to launch into, and I'm going to take a sip of water actually, because I'm going on, and we are going to be ending soon because I don't like my podcast episodes to be too long, but I knew this was going to be a long one because I have a lot to say and I wanted to do the debrief justice. So I'm going to take a sip of water. Okay, I'm back. So now just going into the personal, broader lessons that I'm taking away from this launch. So first off, the process of rewriting all of my sales emails, all of my emails for both my webinar and my sales emails, really allowed me to find my voice and my platform and my position on practitioners marketing themselves and selling their services online. And the process really helped me gain more confidence in what our program is. Like, what is the Wellness Pro website system? I have been shouting from the rooftops, I feel like forever, that it's more than a website and it's a system. But now I'm getting more clear on how to actually describe that to people. And I'm still not completely clear, but I'm getting there and I'm working on it. And I feel like the emails were a start in that move and that progression, because it is a website. You are getting a website, but what I do and what I bring into the program that I invite practitioners into is more than just let's set up a website. It's how does this website become this marketing tool and this sales tool for you? And how are you leveraging it in your business? And what's the strategy behind it? And how can you be learning some skills and some systems and getting some other tools up and running in your business that are going to allow you to get better results without having to spend more of your time doing it? I talk a lot about if you don't want to be on social media, like you don't have to be. But if you do, that's fine. But I really recognize that we are so limited in our time and energy in our businesses. And I just don't think that you need to be like feeding the content monster in order to have a really effective practice or business, whatever kind of business you're running in this field of health and wellness and nutrition and public health and mental health. There are tools, a website with the marketing systems and sales systems built in that can allow you to be successful. And so it was really a process of me understanding more about what it is I offer, what is unique about what I offer, how to explain it aside from just repeating that it's a system. And it gave me more confidence in what I do. And really, this is just a lesson again and a reminder that a lack of confidence in your offer, in your expertise, in what you can bring to people's lives and how you can change them and transform them and the impact that you make. If you are lacking that confidence, your messaging is going to suffer and your sales are going to suffer because you're just not going to show up confidently and fully in the content that you are putting out there that is going to help you connect with people. And we do need to have content out there. You cannot just be relying on one-on-one conversations with people that come to you, because that is not scalable. And I'm not saying that you necessarily want to scale to a large practice or anything, but I'm sure everyone wants to have more time. And so if you need to be putting out content and you need to have a clear, confident message in what you're putting out there. And it really is a muscle that you need to be working every day, working on your confidence and working on your clarity and what it is you do and the outcome that you offer to people. And I see a lot of people, and this has been me historically, and I think now that is starting to shift, where they are still just speaking about what it is they do and how they do it, and not speaking to that final outcome that their customers ultimately want. And it can be tough because we're so wedded to our product and our offer, and we're so passionate about all the different things that we are helping our customers with. And those things are still true, but we also need to be able to really get to the end result. What is that final outcome that they really want? That really big, compelling outcome. I was talking with a colleague, and it was like she was offering a product, and I was looking at her sales page and it's really great. And I'm like, isn't it really helping people with this? And she said, yeah, but I can't guarantee that. And I think that might be a thing that's going on too with practitioners, especially obviously we don't want to make false health claims. We don't want to guarantee that we can fix someone's IBS or help someone, who's dealing with fertility issues have a baby. Of course, we can't guarantee that those things are going to happen. There's a lot of things out of our control. But we still need to speak about that those are the things that people who are coming to us want, because that is the point of your service. If you are helping women with fertility nutrition, the goal is for them to have a baby. So you need to talk about it. You need to use that language in your marketing. You can't just be always talking about we're going to improve your fertility. We're going to make it easier for you to get pregnant. Call it out. Like, you want to have a baby. I want to help you have a baby. So maybe not exactly like that, but we need to be more literal, and we need to be more bold in what it is that what our customers want. You're just speaking about what your customers want. And there are ways to find ways to feel still ethical about how you are explaining what you're doing and what results you're helping people achieve. But also, it's just about talking about what it is that they want and how your service relates to helping them get what they want. All right. Then now I just want to talk, to wrap it up. What am I doing next? What am I changing? What's going on? What's different? And this is a little scary for me to put this out here. Historically, I take a long time to make decisions in my business, and I don't like putting myself out there too much. And I realize, though, that holds me back. And there's probably a lot more that I can be offering people and helping you all with. And I would love to hear from you as well. You can DM me on Instagram at Whitney Bateson, send me an email at info@whitneybateson.com, and let me know what you think. But here's what I'm thinking. So I'm ready to do bigger things. I'm ready to offer some new things to all of you, in addition to the Wellness Pro website system. So that will continue. And if you want to be on the wait list and find out about it, go to wellnessprowebsite.com and you can check out that program. But I am ready to be more specific, more direct, and bold about what I believe you need in order to be successful, and what WPWS and my company as a whole is here to do. And really just come out with some really bold statements. The one bold statement that I've been hanging my hat on is that you need a website. And even that has sometimes felt, circumstances like this would just, no, I believe you need a website. I am a web designer. I do believe you need a website. That's why I have devoted my entire career to it. And I need to own that. And then I need to own some of the other things that I think you need that align and support and go along with really leveraging your website to grow your business. And I know that your website is not the end all be all. And there's other things that I think I can help you with to grow from your website. Once you have your website, what are those other things that we can be doing that are not going to be difficult or time intensive, labor intensive, stressful, to help you continue to grow and show up in a way that feels authentic to you and comfortable, knowing that there's a lot of stuff out there in terms of advice of what we should be doing that maybe we don't want to be doing. And I think we do need to push the envelope, push you outside of your comfort zone a little bit. But I also think that we don't have to be like dancing on reels. One thing that I do believe, though, as well, is that I believe that practitioners and coaches and consultants and business owners in general need implementation support, not just information. I know that there are a lot of courses out there, and there's a lot of business coaches too, even, where they are giving coaching and they're giving guidance and they're giving information, but you still have to do all of the work yourself, and you have to figure out what's the template to do that thing, or what's the process in my business that I'm going to use to execute this idea that this coach gave me. And I think coaching is great. I've had coaches. I'm in a mastermind right now getting coached. I love it. But I really think that there needs to be more in terms of implementation support that also is leveraged in a way. That's what the Wellness Pro website system is all about, is that it's not a DIY program. It's also not a fully custom outsourced product where it would cost you multiples of what the program costs to build a website with all of the things that we include in it. So I've made it in a way where I'm helping you implement it so that you have all the tools to get it implemented, but for a fraction of the cost, as if I were and my team were to do all of it for you. And so I want to create a few other tools and programs and products that are along those same lines, where I'm not just teaching you how to do the thing and I'm not doing the thing for you, because that would cost a lot of money and it would take a lot of my time too. I want to help you implement it and teach you how to fish and give you the tools to implement these things that I believe you really need. And as a business owner in today's world with online marketing. So that is what I'm thinking. And it's not like those are the things that I'm putting out are going to be like the only things that you should be doing or that you can be doing or all of that. But it's more like having this foundation of tried and true systems in your business for marketing and selling that can be a little bit of set it and forget it. You still need to put some inputs in there, but it's not nearly the labor intensive of some of the other things that are out there that are being said you should be doing to market. And you can always layer more things on top and do more things, but these core systems should be working consistently underneath. I've worked for years to help you build that website as one core system, but I think there are a few other core systems that I can help people with that will just multiply the effect of the website that we help you create. So I will be sharing more specifics soon. I'm nervous about sharing those specifics, but I'm excited as well because I think it's time for me to kind of go outside of my comfort zone, do some new things, help you more. And I would genuinely really to know though, am I on the right track here with what I'm thinking, that there's more of a need for like implementation support, and you're looking for some additional systems that are just going to help you with your marketing and sales and things that can be fairly hands-off, that are easier to implement. So just let me know if what I'm saying and what I'm thinking sounds true for you, or if there's anything else that you're like, I would really love more support in this, or this is the thing that I'm struggling with right now. I would love to know. So send me a note, Instagram at Whitney Bateson, or send me a note via email, info@whitneybateson.com. And yeah, that's wrapping up. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I hope you got a lot out of it, just in terms of hearing my process of dealing with my launch and what went well and how we launch and my approach to it. And also just some of the ahas that I took out of it. And then also I really, really would love to know if what I'm planning on, and I know I kept it vague for now, so I understand that. But anything you want to share with me in terms of what specifics you're looking for from me, or just specifics in your business that you really need help with right now, I would be really grateful to hear that from you. And yeah, I think that's it for now. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode of The Growth Show. Bye.